how did I know it was time to move from being a dancer to choreographer? This is an amazing question. And do you know what? This was one of my biggest struggles. I liked being a dancer. I had some great time, did some great work. Once I really figured it out, I loved it. I did pretty much most of the things that I wanted to do, the TV shows, the artist, all of that. I always wanted to be a choreographer, always, from the very beginning. And I struggled with what does that look like? How do I get from here to there? Because it's a completely different role. It's a completely different space, a completely different way of working. And what I had was, well, everyone knows me as a dancer. How do you go from people saying, oh, Alex the dancer, to like Alex the choreographer? Like, what do you do? Like, what does that look like? And of course, when you've built something, I'd built a dance career, right? So I knew what that looked like, how to build something. I knew it took a long time. The steps, the stepping stones, like getting in, lots of no's, resilience, all of that. So I knew I needed to do that all over again here, which is challenging, because once you've become successful at something, to start again unknown and like not successful at something is like an ego kick. An ego kick, if that makes sense. It's an ego, it's a kick to the ego. There you go. But it was my biggest thing that I wanted to do, and I knew it. And so I started slowly. I started doing small things. I started just getting friends together, put my choreography on them. I started asking people, and this was a really big part. I would ask people, can I assist? Can I shadow? Can I get in the room? Lots of people would ignore me. Lots of people would say no. Every now and again, someone would say yes. And I could learn from them. I could watch them. I could get in the room. I could help in any way and learn. And just take little things and, oh, I like the way they did that. I like the way they communicated that. To see the relationship with the choreographer and the dancer. To understand the relationship between the choreographer and the client was a very new thing for me. I was like, because dancers don't have a relationship with the client, really. We have a relationship with our choreographer, and we have a relationship with our agent. And I'd never really had a relationship with the client. I'd never communicated like that with the client. And I think a lot of people don't realise this. So what I needed to learn was not just, I didn't need to just develop my skills as a choreographer. That's the given part of it. I needed to understand, what does it look like? How do I speak to a client? How do I communicate? They're telling me what they want. How do I then understand that, process that, and communicate back? If there's problems, if there's, what do I need to be asking? What type of questions do I need? What type of information do I need from the client? Sometimes they might not know. So I need to lead it. And what if I don't know, then, is it going to go right? Is it going to go? So the shift was quite big for me personally. What I didn't have, what a lot of people do, what I didn't do, I never had a choreographer book me as a dancer a lot, and then that choreographer pull me up as an assistant. I didn't have that. I didn't have a good working relationship with just one choreographer ever. I kind of just worked bits and bobs with everyone. And so I was always I was always hoping someone would pull me up. I'd be waiting and hoping that someone would reach their hand out and pull me up and say, do you want to assist me? Do you want to do this? And no one ever did. And so this was one of my sort of biggest lessons. We have to do it ourselves. We can't wait for someone to say, hi, there's an opening here. Would you like to step into it? We have to go, do you know what? I want to do this, and I feel like I'm ready to move. So let me cultivate that. Let me ask the questions. Let me get in the rooms. Let me send the emails. Let me just get out there and get into action mode. Once I did that, once I made a start on just doing things, I just thought, if I just do something, the more I do, the more something will catch fire, something will catch on, right? And so that's what I did. And slowly, of course, over the years, people started trusting me as that. One thing I did, which again is maybe a bit mad, and other people don't do this, I went quite cold turkey on being a dancer. I was just I just don't want to be a dancer anymore. And I feel like if I continue dancing, no one's going to take me seriously as a choreographer. They're still going to be like, oh, but you were dancing yesterday and now you're choreographing today. And that is fine. Actually, now I can say that is fine, and people do that, and that's like quite a normal thing. I just didn't want to do it. I did not want to be a dancer anymore, and I was so desperate for people to think of me as a choreographer. At least on my way at the beginning, you know, I just didn't want to be a dancer anymore. And so that going cold turkey was quite mad. And I remember after I decided this is what I'm doing, I got straight booked. I got an email to be straight booked as a dancer on the Brit Awards, and I was like, this is the universe testing me right now, because obviously that's a great job, I really wanted to do it, but I'd made the commitment and the decision to myself to not do it, and I actually turned it down, and I was just like, am I doing the right thing, what's going on? But I needed to trust in myself, and I needed to trust in my process, and I didn't want to be, you know, I will have just said this, but I'm going to go back on that now. Like, I wanted to be solid with myself in my lane. This is what I'm doing. I didn't want to be all over the place. So I turned that down, and I kid you not, within 5 minutes, I was offered like a really great job as a choreographer that then led on to me doing quite a lot of big jobs after that. And so, like I said, if you watched my video a couple of days ago about when I was in New York, once you learn to trust yourself and trust your journey, you take that with you. And so those lessons that I learned when I was on my way to being a dancer, I had to trust in them same lessons now that I'm building myself to choreographer as well. And honestly, those lessons, I still have them. They're still with me. I still lean on them because they have served me well. And I think once you prove to yourself that you can do something and that you know best, and you don't need to, just don't be all over the place, just stay solid in your vision and what you're doing, it always works out, right? And so that is my journey.